Taurus, what's good? I'm your Mile High Priest, chilling, straight up chilling up here on the sun's day. It is the new moon in about like an hour. Yeah, we are at the top of the Jupiter hour on the sun's day, 27th of April. Thank you so much. This is a Taurus placement. Reading the horoscope is based on Taurus rising. Thank you for being here. If the message resonates along the way, feel free to hit like if that's what your jam. Subscribe if you're new here. Thank you to all the new peeps hanging out. Thank you to everyone who's always been hanging out. Thank you, Taurus. Happy birthday, Taurus. What a juicy new moon. Y'all, I apologize. My allergies are rather intense. So yesterday's message, I'm like, you can tell, right? You get like, what? Anyway, I ask that our guides of the highest, most brilliant, divine white light guide us, protect us as I connect with you. I'm ever so grateful to connect with you, to interpret and channel for your new moon in Taurus horoscope and reading. Once again, the horoscope is based on Taurus rising, but the reading is really for anyone, everyone, right? Take what resonates. It is designated for Taurus placements. So given that, take only what resonates, leave the rest for the rest. My name's Armando. I incorporate astrology, horoscopes, a lot of different schools of astrology, Egyptian, Taro, as well as Taro in general, and all that comes with that. Y'all got me all giddied up. I didn't even take a break. The messages have been so intense. Anyway, pleasant to have you here. Let's just go with it. Taurus rising and Taurus placements. The moon, the sun and the moon meet up in your first house. Uranus is still there, so I know it's been wild. Over the last maybe even 7 or 8 years, there have occurred, or there have been so many occurrences throughout your personal life, your thinking, even the way you look. I suppose that it is all part of the regeneration, and then landing softly as you sort of like, maybe there was a little bit of a relinquish point. Maybe there's even energy picking up. If we can backtrack, there will be that gust of wind. If you're not feeling it, maybe you've had a lot of times like that over the last few years where like the wind has picked up, but so there's no reason for you to feel stuck or anything like that. It just means that if you have found yourself on a up and down or bumpy ride, now the time, it will still garner a little bit of that traction, but more so the traction is meant to build momentum to move you forward. You are perhaps very spiritually aligned now, or that sensation really kicks into high drive. So don't let it become overdrive. It's almost like you're taking away a gift, like your spiritual guides or the universe is giving you a gift. You've earned it, so take it. You've left many, or you are still leaving many collectives behind, and hopefully you do feel like you're coming out of the dark as far as like who your friends are. You could feel alone even if you're not alone. Society could be, you could be keeping society or collectives or groups of people that you hang out with at bay, which is fine. I don't mind that you do that, because if you are very spiritually heady right now, you don't need to take on too much. But Pluto does want to drive you now into recommitting to your work, and then you'll come through with new friendships, new groups, or maybe this is happening already, but you could be realizing you're coming into the mix with a lot of different karmic people, like the karmic relationships, or the karma in the relationships becomes very significant, and you're realizing maybe you can go back to some people, meaning that some people are still meant to be in your life. They're not necessarily leaving, but your world expands so much that maybe leaving means the distance grows. There's like a distance between you and friendships, or now the types of relationships, even those that were at a distance, or those that are coming to be defined by distance, primarily like a long distance friendship or long distance types of relationships. I don't want to be like exclusive about a long distance love relationship. Like, I don't really know what that is like, but that may be something that you're experiencing. Maybe your partner is traveling, and maybe your work requires a lot of travel. Maybe this is a temporary kind of phase, which I can maybe assert a little bit of that from your wheel is very wild, by the way. This is meant to, like, I don't want to make you feel even more alone if you already feel alone, but you could be experiencing so much expansion in that way. And then soon enough, you'll be able to readdress it's almost like there's no breakup, but even if you have broken up with someone, or over the years, there has been a disconnect, or over the last year, you're reasserting yourself with yourself, like your speech, the way you speak about you, the way you. So take only what resonates, right? Like, you could be coming out of a time when you're addressing yourself a lot better. Like, I suggest you do refer to yourself in a loving manner, and maybe you haven't been, but now it's time for you to really. This may sound really offensive. I don't mean it to be like very gender specific. I just want to appropriate the phrase, like, man up, even if you are the most feminine. And this is just like man up in the way you speak about yourself, like, because Mars in Leo in your 4th house is more, it's like very masculine, and it's like, even if you are very feminine, right, or very womanly, no matter what, like, it's almost like as if your father or a big brother, someone like me, like, coming to you and being like, you're worth it, you're worthy. And that's the sort of shakeup that may be why all of this is occurring. I just want to confirm that for you. If it feels like, well, shit, I just came into all these new relationships, or I just gave up all these bad relationships because I thought I was going to come into these beautiful new connections. And yes, you are, but there's a blip in this time where we have to wait a little bit, even just the summer, or even just like the next few weeks, to like the way you speak to yourself is really that's what it's really about for the next few months. So maybe that's your new moon manifestation, is how to speak to yourself in a good, loving manner. And that way you don't come to your partner or your partners or your new relationships, or when you come back to them, you don't feel that you are limited in your expression, and you don't feel that you're saying the wrong things. Not that that even matters, but it could really be about speaking to yourself in a loving manner. And then, for example, then how does that translate for your expression? And then how far does your voice travel? Because it does travel. You've realized that. And there's this whole like karmic reshuffling And it was like maybe what you didn't want, and it still wants you, and you're like, fuck, I kind of want that. I don't know. Y'all are wild. Y'all are driving me wild. Does any of that even make sense? A lot of it's like the Sagittarius reading, where it's like you've addressed a lot of your father and mother wounds, but now you have to work on your expression, your self-expression, because we're so used to expressing yourself with those old connections, or in those old collectives, or in those old groups, those old networks. And the new networks that are drawing you in, the new people, or even your ex-lover, or like your new lover, they all see you, and they can sense your soul, and they're like, Taurus doesn't speak very highly of themselves, and that's just the vibration. It could be very symbolic that you don't treat yourself well, that you don't surround yourself with good people, or that you continue to work for the wrong crowd or the wrong collective, or you're continuously beating yourself down with bad words, or you're like not speaking about yourself highly, not thinking of yourself highly, not mentally considering yourself highly. Like, it's all that. It could be any of that, no matter. That's why, yes, I don't know where your wheel and how it all falls. Okay, wow. I hope that helps. I know that was intense. It really is about how you see yourself, how you talk about yourself. Wow, I love it. Okay. Dreamscape Oracle for Taurus. Now we're done with your horoscope, and now I want to address just Taurus placements in general. Okay, I mean, you have the scale and the light. At least you don't have the dark, but that's what I mean, is like your landing is softer, and the scales is like, no matter what decision you make, you can understand that. Into the light, are you okay? I want you to feel okay. Did something not work out? It can. It may just involve the distance, or you may even, I don't have any songs for you, but is it that Cake song, Going the Distance? You're going for speed. You're all alone in a time of need. I don't want you to feel alone, and I want you to feel that you can still make a decision. And I believe that if you feel good, if you are feeling good, even though the times has been a little rough and upsetting, I believe that if you you can tip the scale in your favor. And even if you showed up with nothing, even if you gave it nothing, there are still folks who saw you for who you were. So if there's like a self-atonement or atonement, which is just like, you may need to ask for not permission, but it could feel that way, or you could ask for forgiveness in a way, or a friend, call on a friend sort of thing. I don't know. It feels to me like you could feel left out. Maybe you feel you made the wrong decision in a relationship. I don't even want it to be like that type of reading, Taurus. Like, I want, because your value, Jupiter is really here with your value, not necessarily your value has to rise. And I believe that you are very valuable, and you will be shown that. And maybe it's like Spirit is trying to give you a glimpse so that you can actually start feeling very, very valuable, like that your value has already increased, even though nothing may look like it's changed, or that you already made all these intense changes since the Libra moon in the fall of 2024, or maybe even the last 2 years. You've been like really increasing your value, and all of a sudden you feel that the energy dipped. We don't want that to be where you start. That's not the origin point. Your origin point is you've already done that work. You've already raised the value. And so this is the bumpy ride So is there a reaffirming, recommitment, reconciling? I don't know if it's necessarily like that, right? Okay. Wow. That was the oracle. And we'll be right back, right? You could be ready to go somewhere. See, the gates are there. The gates of love. Oh my God, Queen of Cups, the gates of love. Is it somebody? Somebody you didn't want, or someone you didn't really want to be with, and you had a lot to think about? Someone you couldn't make a decision about, or someone you made a decision about? It's like a reshuffle. I don't know. What are you guys experiencing, Taurus? What is going on? Is this a friendship? Is this just the friendship becomes deeper, right? Maybe you have addressed a lot of your motherly wounds and that childhood, whatever happened then that then becomes triggering and holds you back from relationships now. Whoever your parent was, whoever was a more motherly parental figure, all of a sudden you're coming to a close with that, and then that enlightens you to like want to readdress the folks that you may have pushed away that were actually not. Wow, why am I getting all this for you? I haven't even really pulled any cards, right? What the fuck? Into the light, into the light. Okay. That may be what you're experiencing, like someone leaving, someone coming, someone going, the relationship becoming really distant, or just the distance, it increases and it like triggers you. Wow, the artist is here. That's the Uranian. It has that going through the gates, right? Like we just talked about that. You can have this. You can have what it is that you want. Maybe you're, again, with whatever. I don't remember what reading it was, but it was like you can have it. This is very spiritually exalted, meaning you have to make the choice, and the scales is about making a choice. Through all your experience, even if it's the wildest choice ever, right? I don't know, because this is kind of a wild reading. Even if you are like reconciling with someone, only time will tell. And then what I'm picking up on is, as long as you feel that your value has risen enough, you will come out of this having made the right decision, meaning no matter what the decision is, it'll propel you. And time will tell. Time will be of the essence here. Like actually chronological time. Maybe it is divine time where everything has sped up. What is the new moon in Taurus illuminating for Taurus, right? See, holding on to something. It's really about self-expression, expressing something. It's something about holding on to, like coming out of that, holding on to old behaviors, or supposing that if you don't let the word out, the sun, we have the sun Leo, very fifth house. So that your Leo, it governs your fourth house, which I've been talking a lot about that. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn, which is that exalted, the relationship, either the new relationship that you want or the old relationship that transforms, or not the old, I just mean the former relationships that do transform. It's very masculine. It's like you may not have worked on it. You may have kept back. You may have held back a lot. But now the time is like, yeah, you can express, you can be expressive. But you have to let it out. It can be very, if the sun's here, it could have that feeling of like, this is really about you, your self-expression, your comfort at home. Maybe you feel very spoiled or very like you have to. Wow, Taurus, do you feel that you're just taking what you want? You feel very reluctant. I feel that you don't want to express a lot right now. You're still holding back. That's what the new moon is illuminating, that you're holding back from taking the plunge, is what I see. That you've been very concerned about the home. You've been hiding away. Can we have more clarity? What is the full moon? The full moon, what is the new moon illuminating? Is it between now and 2 weeks that everything changes for you, right? You don't want to give this up all of a sudden, or you are. Someone is leaving and it's making room for a lot, I suppose, right? Maybe all of a sudden you don't want them to leave. Look, it was like there's a defeat, right? Like you feel that there was more there, there's been more there, and you're trying to more pentacles. Saturn. Okay, Saturn in Taurus. This is you, Taurus. Saturn in Taurus. You're holding on to something. Okay, is this someone leaves with nothing and you feel like you want to keep them, like not hold them back, but if it's someone that's holding you back, right, like this is the release. But on the other hand, if it's something that you want, that you don't want it to leave your life, you can express it, even if it's so, for example, if that person is leaving, you can still express it and allow that to then be your word of expression that declares your value. That's like the truth. That's the honest truth. Even if it feels childish, even if it feels like you're all about money and keeping your wealth in check, which is all great. Like, yes, your financial, that is a lot of your worth, but you can't base all your worth on how well you save or how ready you are for this person to leave, or how even if you keep your cool. Like, it's really about just letting it all out, like letting the emotions out and being like, I'm sad that you see this as like a loss. So do you want it to be a loss? Because if the scales are here, it's like, if you don't speak up, that is the loss. And if you what you think may be childish and too provocative is actually what sort of releases, right, a lot of the energy. Okay. Alrighty, just getting ready. Look, Scorpionic death. Something is transforming. Someone is leaving. Okay. Taurus, what is going on? Oh my gosh. This is Mars and Leo. That's all we've been talking about. You don't have to fight for it. It's not that you're fighting for it. It's just that you're coming to their level and Really, it's asserting your level where you are at. Does any of this even make sense? What the hell's going on? What can we confirm for Taurus, please? What is this new moon confirming? Okay. That you've been holding back, that you've been at home just holding back. Even if you haven't been at home, you're just not, you don't want to let this out. You don't want to let this secret out. It's too what's the secret? What's this mood of the way? This Three of Swords. That's what's in between. Look. Okay, look. This was in between. It's the Queen of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Three of Swords, the Four of Cups. Okay, and then the Queen of Wands. So I suppose that either you made a choice to, in love, what I see here is more that you're very independent. So the choice that you made, regardless of whether it was for love, it still asserts your mighty independence. But it has triggered this wound, okay? Like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't be that way. Or you realize that you're leaving an offer on the table, and you and this person have a sort of connection, the High Priestess. With this moon, it's like both of you are very independent, and so the choice is more like the offer was never taken. You hold on to your persona, as in your personality maintains. You maintain the power, right? By giving into the financial stuff. Like, you only care about the finances. I'm not saying that that's all you care about, but that's your focus, that's your center. And then, but you leave this offer on the table, and then it's like you and this person know that yes, you can go on and be independent, but the actual expression is that this is really loving, or you have given an offer to a different person, and that doesn't mean you defy healing. There's still a lot of healing. Okay. Either way, is it that you want real love? Okay. And maybe you push this person away, and you're more centered on your money. The gate is the Ace of Pentacles here, though. Like, that's money and love, especially with the Queen of Cups here. Maybe you have healed a lot of your motherly, fatherly wounds, like the Sagittarius. And maybe you, like the Sagittarius, have been dealing with a lot of narcissistic behavior, narcissism. Whether the way I see it is, if you're dealing with that, from my personal experience, it has been that I'll put myself on the line here. Like, I've had to check my narcissistic behavior when it comes to me realizing that I've been dealing with narcissistic people, right? So it takes two. And no, I'm not saying that everyone who deals with like, there's a difference between like a diagnosed narcissist or someone who is diagnosed with narcissism or narcissistic personality, right? Disorder. There's an entire difference between the rest of society and the rest of society being in behavior that is narcissistic or acting as if, right? Like, there's all the different levels, and maybe perhaps we don't have the right label, but in my experience, it's been like, maybe I'm not a manipulator, gaslighter, but I'm manipulating because I want what I want, regardless of how I'm being treated. And I know we were saying like man up, so maybe that is very masculine behavior, to just want what you want without giving a fuck about the other person's emotions, even if what you want is them. Unlike a narcissistic person, the way they want you is it's almost the same to me. Like, you want what you want and you want to love them. You're like, why can't I love you? And then on the other hand, the other person's like, can you love me from afar? Can you just do what I want you to do when I want you to do it? Like when I call you and when I text you and when I ask you for something, I want you to do it for me. That's like the typical covert or like really gaslighty and like love bombing, all that, the breadcrumbing, like, oh. And then on the other hand, I feel even those folks get wrapped up and start to lose their shit when the other person's like, starts like retaliating, right? Like, I can't believe you were gaslighting me and manipulating me and blah. Like, it can turn destructive if the other person's not realizing that they're being mistreated. Take what resonates, please. I know this is a load. It seems like something wasn't fully expressed. Like, it's, even if it was childish and misbehavior and very detrimental, like, there's an expression here of like, oh, I needed to heal of my independence. I needed to heal my fear. We have the Queen of Wands, the Devil, and the Empress. And then Moon in Taurus. And then the Fool. Like, what is up, y'all? There's a fear of losing this. There's a fear that you made the wrong choice by letting this person go. This person may have seemed very docile, very domestic, and very laid back, like not up to par. But maybe you're like, oh fuck, I'm losing the Empress. And maybe it had to take you to come to realize your Empresshood, no matter if you are the King of Wands. Wow, Taurus. What world am I in right now? Go back to the horoscope, because it started off wild and it's turning even wilder. There's a choice, a responsibility. You don't have to do any of this. They don't have to do any of this. It doesn't seem like it'll be easy. It seems like there's a lot of fear, or there's even people that stand in the way, like a mom. Your mom stands in the way, or healing from that. Okay, but it's like, you know what is causing you to not address that. You know that it could be those very specific wounds, or a very specific person in your life that's like, no, be independent, be the King of Wands, be that. Let that go. Don't resolve it. Just whatever it is. And it's like, they know too that that's not right. Whoever this person is, they realize that they've given you the wrong advice to let this sit there and let this love just like fizzle. There's a loss at the end of the day. There's a fizzling. There's a lot of need to address that you can speak up. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to leave it at that, because I'm like, what? Only time will tell. Listen to what is going on in the situation and make a decision to benefit your world. Bring proper judgment back to the world. Did the results bring positive or negative outcomes? Only history will tell, okay? Determining right from wrong requires an intricate skill. Not everyone can do what she can do. Flowers decorate her hair, showing the beauty that happens when the scales pass judgment. Her golden clothing matches the small scales dangling in each hand. If you look closely, one seems higher than the other. Did the results bring positive or negative outcomes? Only history will tell. Okay. Whoa. There's this gate opening. Will you take it? Wow. Okay. All right. Enjoy the journey. It's wild. I know, Taurus. What have you gotten yourself into? All the love. Happy new moon.